All right. Lee John or Pun Lee, right? Pun Lee, right? Pun Lee,
Uh,
right?
just John would be fine.
John, there, right? Okay, okay, easy, there, right? Okay, thank you. All right. What Jessica? For me, I think I will be hard to draw the characters the same in the different scene. But depending on the characters that Jessica, what type of character that you want to create. Okay, that's what I say. You need to be more. You have to find the smartest way to design your characters there, right? To design your characters there. Okay, I've shown you guys before when I actually create one of the characters in AI there, right? I kind of can use because I actually have invest my times to come up with that ideas there, okay? What I do basically there, right? I kind of like I'm using the same characters. At the same times, I'm changing basically the characters to fit into the panels. But some other time, I'm flip them up, change the size to works on that, right? I think I will do more stylized and not realism. Okay, yes. So make sure you have the reference or samples that can be shown also on your development as a part of your research. Which type of characters of stylized that you want to use, what kind of characters of subject matter that you're going to design according to your stories. Those kind of things really matters there. All right. And my kind of way of thinking when I want to design the characters or to start with the work circuit, it's just like finding a cast for our movies or drama or project or video project. Okay, we have to make sure that we love that characters. Okay, we love that character that we're going to work with the character for a certain kind of time there, right? Okay, so if you love to look at that characters there, and you will actually drive yourself to recreate that characters all over again, right? Those are the one of the things that I always do, that I will make sure that okay, I can actually use these characters for several times there, and I'm not going to be feel bored about it, right? And also about the elements, about the accessories that have in your characters, try to limit and simplify them. Okay, simplify them there. Okay, some people love to draw this anime, manga kind of stuff. Like, go ahead there. Okay, I want to see how actually you guys work on that. A very simple kind of color combinations here. A very simple kind of color combinations here there. Okay, the way that she play with the panels also quite smart, right? Just to works. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hopefully, right, okay, John, I answered the questions, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Just
right.
a quick question, like for our like like our what do you call that? Our concept, inspiration, all those sketches, everything, right? How do we show it to you or Miss Anis? Do we just put it in our blog or?
Yeah, you can actually put in your blog and then you send the link to us. Also, it's more proper, lah, okay? Because the
Okay,
one that actually, right, I stated in our activities here, because I just want to give you guys some of the reminder kind of notes there, right? But I already told Miss Anis that she can actually write, she can basically, what we call that, reschedule or adjust back again, what we call that, our, it's not where is it already? What we call that, my kind of what we call that notes from here, that, okay, because easy for us basically to right to update with you guys, okay, back again there, right? Okay, later on. Okay, instructions basically from what? Um, all right, the weekly progression, all right, progress before the, if you have the synopsis or storyline there, right? Okay, and story arc at the same times. All right, thumbnails, sketches, okay, 10 pages. Right. character developments. This is only the point form that basically you guys can elaborate and add some details and also the background design, okay, of your premise there, if you have one, okay, from your stories there. All right. The submissions basically, right, what I put actually for another class is on Sunday. All right, 11:59 or 12 p.m. there, right? Okay. So all students. So I put the sign first, and you guys can check, right? Okay, back again, okay, just to get the reminders from there. All right, a very what we call the simple reminders for you guys to take a look. Okay, this is the progress there. Okay, then next week we can move on to another levels there. Okay, and one of the things that I love to do like in our tutorials, if I actually saw your progress, some of the works that I might going to be used, I can actually show you guys how actually it might can be applied, okay, to color them back, to develop some sort of styles there, or to refine the line there. Okay, those are the things that I can actually share with you guys there, right? Okay, other than just using some of our planning there to show some of the demonstrations only there, okay, for you guys there. So we can work either from my kind of what we call we have planned for you guys, or we can actually go towards to your kind of what we call it sketches, and we improvise from there. Then see whether you guys can give the same kind of result or not. It's all depend on how much time that you practice them back. Okay.
So I want to ask something.
Yeah.
I want
David, right? Yeah.
to confirm again for the character, right? Is that we can make a human character, or we should create our imagination character, something like that? For
What kind of imagination character there?
I mean, like the character that we did in project one, or
Romatus
any like yeah,
character.
something like that.
Okay, remember. Okay, remember, guys. Okay, any kind of character that you want to create, it has to come with the subject matters there. Who actually your characters? Why you create those kind of characters? And what are the your characters and the stories there? But the most important thing is the subject matters there. What basically this one that David is talking about. Okay, even though you're going to create a characters based on nothing there, right? Okay, but you have to define what is your character is, because if you cannot actually define them normally in a real kind of works there, okay, people will ask you the same thing. Let's just say that your friend or your closest friend, your family, look into your creation there, okay, the first thing they might going to ask you, what is your character is there, okay, or sometimes one of the crucial thing, what are you trying to do, huh? Those are the some of the crucial kind of questions that I sometimes I get previously when I do the work there. Okay, yeah. So you want to avoid people questioning something that sometimes you don't like there. Okay, or sometimes they feel it's right but it's not there. That's why we have to define our subject matters there. Like David say, whether human or any kind of imaginations, any imaginary kind of characters or elements, they came from a certain kind of subject matters there. For example, to ask you, Daki, have you seen heaven? Have you seen hell before in the real life? Have you seen them? No, right?
No.
No one has. I'm not saying that this is not actually a religious topic, lah. But logically, there, okay. Logically, have you seen dragon before in your real life?
No.
Right? Anyone see ghosts in their real life? Anyone? Raise your hand there. Anyone seen an alien in your real life there? Okay. Ask that back the questions there. Have you seen all these kind of mystical kind of images there in real life? Maybe some people maybe have seen some of the phenomenal, what we call that, mystical kind of images there, okay? Maybe some of us maybe have, okay? Maybe some of you guys shy to see it, to share, okay? But logically, no one's seen there, okay? No one actually have seen before. When I was actually in my teenagers, I always fascinate with aliens there, okay? I buy some of the books. I always stay at night there, okay, looking at the star. Hopefully one day, sky actually, okay, I can see some of the aliens there. Okay, those are, I love those kind of mystery kind of things, Loch Ness kind of monster kind of stories there, right? Okay, Bigfoot there, okay, but none of them I haven't seen in my real life there, okay. But we always make them up. We make them up, okay. Same goes heaven and earth, okay. We always imagine, okay, what are the relations that we can use, the subject matter that we can use to define heaven or earth, or hell there, okay. So to define heaven, how is it? Okay, my kind of way of defining basically, right? Maybe there's a very beautiful kind of garden there, okay, with a very kind of a very beautiful kind of places there, okay, that we cannot imagine by words there, okay, but we can actually, right, visualize them, okay. There's a few kind of mountains, there's a river of milk there, maybe there, okay. There's a lot of uh, people actually, right, okay, walking around happily, right, okay, all these kind of things there. There's a lot of beautiful women and men that together there, okay. Those are the things there, right, okay. Maybe how about hell there, okay? We always imagine just like we add in the in the volcanoes there, okay? A pit of volcanoes there, okay? Those are the something that we can imagine about hell. Maybe in our limited kind of mind of thinking there, right, okay? But that kind of visuals of subject matters pop up in our mind there to define that kind of places there, right? Okay? So same goes to the dragons there we're talking about just now. How to define dragon there, okay? We actually going to resembling like lizard a bit, combined with snakes. Subject matters there, right? Combined with iguana there maybe, right? Or maybe some of the chameleon there, combine them with the various type of elements there, or subject matters, or animals there, or reptiles that can be applied to define dragons there, right? For example, then we're going to go through with the Googles and find some of the reference that people actually have done before, and we try to visualize them back in our own way. So define your subject matters when you want to create your characters there. Human, for example, there, okay? Let's say you want to draw a human, but what kind of human that you want to draw? What type of race, colors, type of person basically you want to draw, right? My kind of way of easy to access, okay, when I want to design something, I will refer back again to me. I will draw a characters that resembling me, okay? Why? Because I can appreciate myself more. I have this kind of this is what actually I experienced, okay, when I was actually studies there. When I start to develop most of the characters that resembling myself, okay, a lot of people always think that, okay, why you actually always draw yourself there, okay? You you think that you want to become like this or that, or for example, okay. But when I actually learn a little bit more further, read a little bit more further about most of the artists, about most of the creators there, okay, who create their own kind of content. You name it, okay, anyone, okay, from any kind of content, okay. Most of the creators, they create something that close to them. Most of them. I think around 85 to 90% of all the creators in this world, creative creators, they're again not the like a god creators, they're right. Creative creators, they're okay. Artists, character designers there, right? People who produce comics, they're right, okay, or write the comics, they're going to look into themselves. Even though late Stanley, they're okay, when he create Spider-Man, he tried to relate to himself there. Even though the Spider-Man doesn't look like him, right? Okay, right. But he tried to create something that from his personalities there. It has to be came from. You don't have to be more like try to pretend to be someone else. You can pretend to be a warrior, you can pretend to be a superhero, you can pretend to be anything that you want as a part of your alter egos there. But the personality is came from you. That's how we can grow our design, our creations there. And we're going to feel a bit more safe and secure. Why? Because you already know what you want there, okay? It's not all about like people always say that, okay, this is something like you just saying that you love yourself. Yeah, we have to love ourselves, right? But if I want to draw someone like Justin Bieber as my characters, Justin Bieber doesn't want to pay me, for example, okay? The logic is right. So why you have to work with other people there can, as a character, okay? Let's just say you love that kind of Korean kind of idol, for example, right? Yes, it's good. For me, sometimes I'm going to use that kind of uh, what we call that celebrities as a part of my reference for my design. But I'm going to go back into myself there. Okay, so I'm going to combine all these kind of words together. What if I can become that handsome, cute kind of Korean kind of pop star, okay, to become as myself, okay, sometimes that it
But
can be.
sir,
Yeah,
sorry,
all right. Huh? Yes,
sorry,
sir.
but it is very hard to draw like a Korean dramas kind of idols.
You can refer to anime and manga styles. Right, go back into that, right? Okay, because if you take a look right now, okay, from most of the creators nowadays, they have this kind of certain kind of. We're not actually taking that. Okay, we are going to use exactly like that characters or that kind of idols. There, no, we're going to create some ideas from sometimes the styles of his hairstyles there or faces there, sometimes a bit there, okay? We just kind of not copy, but we try to adapt a little bit there, okay? Some of the features there. It's not like we just create exactly like that kind of Korean kind of guy or idols or whatever that you want, but you're trying to capture basically some of the features there. For example, if you take a look at this kind of web comic kind of images, kind of characters, they're right. They look like that kind of Korean and manga kind of what we call Korean and Japanese kind of K-pop or J-pop kind of styles. They are what we call the celebrities there. Okay, for example, if you check look, okay, let's just say Korean K-pop girls, there, okay, K-pop girls, okay. I'm not actually into it, but when my kids basically right have this kind of so most of the kids nowadays have the right this kind of crazy kind of things there. Okay, I don't know. Maybe when I was like teenagers, I might going to fall in love visually with this kind of girls there. But nowadays, no, they're right. Okay, more into reality. Okay, but you can see here. Okay, let's just say some of the things that features that might going to help you to engage your kind of ideas, influence you to develop your characters. First of all, obviously, what you can see the right, what you guys can see from here that you can actually use as a part of your studies there to design your characters. What is it? The physicals there. What is it you can see from here that you can study them back?
Big eye.
And there's no big eye there, or they always small eyes here. The features that you can actually direct see that you can study there, okay? Study or redraw them back. Obviously, the hairstyle. Even though the men there, okay, hairstyles there. Okay, the hairstyles there, see? And take a look at the webtoon here. Hairstyles, the same. The same there, guys. Hairstyle, some of their maybe some of their poses there maybe they're right. Obviously hairstyles there, guys. Looking back, eyes, no, most of them have a small eyes. They're right. But when you create back again, the characters it become a bit more bigger. They're right. It can be right. So you look at, okay, most of people, when the layman, they look only into the physical, not beyond what you can do from there, right? Not beyond what you can do from there. As a creator, as an artist, you will look beyond, okay, what you can actually see from here that you can actually recreate, already design them back for your character design. Right, K-pop girls, right? The hairstyles over here. I love to see those hairstyles. Okay, I love to look at the hairstyles there. And sometimes, this is my personal kind of opinions, the girl hairstyles really turn me on there, right? Okay, turn me on in terms of the man kind of interest there, the hairstyles there. Okay, I love to see this kind of hairstyles there, right? Right, long kind of hair there, right? Okay, but very defined there, refined there, right? Okay, those sort of things there. It doesn't mean I don't like the girl with the short hair, right? Okay, love to see also there, right? Okay, but if you take a look here, there, right, the hairstyle that makes some interest on how we can study them back again to create those kind of characters there. All right, unique kind of images like these also can be a part of our influence there, okay, to develop our ideas from there. All right, cheeky kind of looks there, right? Okay, with a very nice kind of long hair kind of style there, all these kind of things, right? Okay, it can be actually used as a part of your influence to design back again. But normally, when you look at webtoon characters and Korean or any kind of idol celebrities as a reference, maybe if I'm not saying this kind of things, if I'm not explain them, you might not be able to analyze them. Then, right? So that's why what basically the creation of characters is beyond what you see. Just draw one single line or color them back and become a character. Then no, it's all based on subject matters there, like a J-pop man there, like a guy there, okay, for example there. I kind of not following them there, okay, but I'm using as a part of my breakthrough basically to see, okay, the styles that they present, see the hairstyles there. Same goes to what we see from most of the characters there, right? Nowadays, how actually we learn there, okay? That's how actually you guys should learn there, okay, to develop those kind of understanding there. We're not talking about the faces, the actual kind of realistic faces there. We improvise, make it into cartoons, and use basically the right kind of method and basic structures that to develop there. Okay, sometimes we don't have to, for example here. Sorry, there, right? Let's just say that if I want to create one of the characters there, right? Sketch it out first, my ideas here. What I can do, okay, the hairstyles there. It can be here. Okay. So the maybe, yeah, right, like what Jessica said just now, right? Jessica, right? She doesn't want to have a very realistic. What I can do, I'm using a very simple kind of line there to define those characters here. To sketch it out directly. I'm not planning to use this kind of color to sketch, but just using it as part of my, what we call that, methods that works in there. Right. To sketch your ideas, as I actually have mentioned for you guys before, you didn't have to use some sort of like, sometimes we always, or we want to, wait up. Sometimes we always get caught in our own kind of creations by only use the certain kind of rules that works. But for me, I try to flexible them back again. Okay? Different kind of what we call that directions. Same characters there, right? To work with it directly. Basic structures. So what basically I've done right now, I'm using some of the styles, okay, the fashions that I saw just now, to use it as a part of my kind of way to develop the dress directly, the shirts, okay, the wardrobes, okay, practice at the same time, right? So this is a part of the rough sketches directly. But normally we can actually do also some of the basic structures there first. One of the best way to draw anything directly came from these basic structures there first before you're going to finalize them. But this is how actually you can actually analyze which are the nose, which part basically you're going to add those characters, kind of nose, lips, mouth at the same time directly. And you want to draw those eyes, okay. Nose itself, the lips, all right. Okay, this is how basically you can actually apply that, right? Different kind of hairstyles there. Go ahead there, right? Okay. A bit more like one of the Japanese guy there, okay. I remember the names there, right? So such as your ideas, work with your kind of subject matters there, okay. Those are the things that we can actually do from there, right? So take a look back again and capture all these kind of images, save, and then put aside to your what we call that working kind of areas there, and then start to work with it, right? So you have to take a look outside from your own boxes there, okay? Because when we have the subject matters, for example, there, okay, we kind of like to copy directly. No, that's not going to be works there, okay? You must be able to develop the understanding to simplify them back there, okay? There's a few number kind of exercise that normally we do, okay, to develop this kind of process directly, but it's not for your kind of purpose right now, basically for visual narrative kind of concept, okay. But I can show basically how it works a little bit from here. Can you see these ideas there, these visuals there, okay? There's a lot of way, guys, for you guys to work. For me, though, okay, one of the way, if I want to develop this kind of styles of characters there, right, is I can use the same old kind of drawings methods that works. Or what I can do, I kind of use this one as my subject matters there. Then I can actually reduce their first, add new layers. If I don't want to draw them, I can use lasso tools. I create characters based on the shapes. So the comic can be visually can be designed in any other way that you want, right? If you really smart enough to develop your kind of understanding there by using the tools here. This one also can be comic there, right? Characters. For those who cannot draw, You guys can always use the graphical kind of looks of your visual presentations. What kind of color that can be used there? Maybe bluish there. More like a pop kind of design there, right? Can be. You just have to be smart to work with it. That's what I say, work smart and not work hard there, right? So the visual itself, okay, let's just say I want to draw the glasses over here. The best way to draw glasses, don't just draw from imaginations. What you can do. All right. Sun glasses. Okay. A type of sunglasses that we can use there, guys. Let's just say this one. Save as, for example, here. Just 3 glasses there, right? So this is also one of the great kind of images there. Yeah, I want you guys to see there, right? How actually I'm using basically a certain kind of methods there to combine the ideas there together. I'm drawing these images there, right? Open up the files. This one for examples. Add new layers, do some selections there, right? Invert them, copy, paste. Mix them up. What I can do from here. But this one there, okay, how actually you're going to cover them back. What I can do, we have the, sorry, there, rubber stamp tools there, right? Where is it? Oh, this one there, right? Clone stamp tools there, right? Alternate and clone them there, right? Okay, to the areas that you don't want to use there. Okay. Alternate, right? Absorb those areas, colors there. Yeah, see, I'm kind of combined there, okay? The characters. I know that, okay, with this kind of stuff, the limitation that you have, you won't be able to work with the certain kind of angles there. But it can be depending on how creative you're going to work with it, right? And some of them are okay, like textures at the same time there, right? There's some selections over here, some textures there. We can actually write, I can upload any kind of texture that I want. Like fabric textures there. Right now, if you take a look directly, I try to give you guys some examples there. How actually you can think outside from your boxes there when it comes to designing the characters there in the modern days. If you look into your own kind of perceptions, yes, of course, you always see the restrictions that you have in yourself. The text is there, different there, right? Multiply. And then if you kind of basically Like it there, right? You just merge the layers there. Like this one. Can you? Put into one panels over here for examples there, right? We're talking about the illustration styles here. So one panels over here. So what I'm going to do here, adding layers there, right? I kind of edit strokes. I'm going to use 10 base of bold outline here. Okay. Right. What you can do from here. Right. Design the background there, right? So I say there's a lot of way to work. Like I've shown you guys how to draw directly before this. Right. I'm going to find those videos and then download them back. Right. Okay. This one basically I'm going to use, let's just say, right. I open up the textures there first. Right. Play with some textures over here. Select all. Right. And then I'm going to paste into here. Save the file there first. Right. Demo for project 3. Okay. Group 2. And there. So what I can do from here there, guys. But of course, the time that you spend, other than you just sketch out your ideas there, you will find, okay, like the sunset. This is what I have in mind again. This is what I have in mind right now, the Saxon Beach background images. I don't know directly what you can do, but this is what I felt right now, okay. But that's why it's like personal there, okay. You need to have that kind of personal kind of touch there, okay. So the photo itself can be a part of the. No one say we cannot use photos there, right? But you cannot use another illustrations to put in your design there, okay? Is it right, Miss Anis? There, right? Miss Anis not here. Right, sunset beach there. But there is a kind of copyright over here, so you have to be careful with it. I kind of want to have a different kind of photos in my mind there, okay? They can resemble those images there, right? Sunset. Sunset Boulevard there, right? Images there. Sunset Street there, right? So the thing is that you need to know basically in the futures when you want to work with something, okay, to develop some creative kind of energies, you need to always get ready there, okay, to develop your kind of ideas, whatever that you have in mind. You kind of step it up, give it away, throw away inside those kind of research there first there, okay, and then you can see whether it's right or not for you guys to work with it. Let's say we try to use this one there first. Save these images. Right, street. Fine, select all, copy. Right, let's just see, I'm going to paste into there first. Can I paste into here? Why can I paste into here? Oh, maybe I didn't select them right. Select them first, sorry there, right? Paste into over here, see? What I can do from here, as usual, go into black and white first. All right. The next thing is duplicate the layers. You can go to image, adjust, threshold, click OK, and multiply that, right? Can you multiply that? See? This is one of the way there, okay? And then you can put some captions on it, okay? So if you haven't seen this kind of styles of presenting those images, right? You better check on the behinds there. There's a lot of this kind of style can be applied, that have been applied, okay, for the works there, right? Just wonder, okay, the text itself, what you can do. You can actually write just use saturations to make it a little bit kind of gray tone there, right? Right. This kind of images, it bring back sometimes some memories, lane kind of storyline other than just action movie kind of styles there. All right. And the things that we can do also for this guy, select them, and for use gradient there. I guess I'm using this kind of gradient there, right? Kind of multiply, see, can be blend there. Overlay also can be blended together there, right? So this is basically how actually you guys can refine your kind of visual at the same time still, right? Okay, using the techniques that I show you guys how it works there. What I can do from here, draw some captions there. Colors there. And then strokes a bit more smaller there, right? Around 8, maybe. And put some captions on that. Okay. In 1960s there, for example, or 1970s there, or 80s there, right? Blah, blah, blah. You can actually change the text according to your kind of concept of your stories there, right? For example here. Talking about styles, okay, I actually have shown you guys also before this and the previous videos that I'm going to download back again, how actually create the certain kind of paint styles basically based on Photoshop, right? Right, this kind of characters are using brushes that works there, right? Okay, so based on the characters that have been developed for you guys for last week, right? Like not this one. From this one there, okay, these characters that just now, right? Okay, how I actually create them back and refine them back into those compositions there and play with different kind of brushes. I'm going to upload them back again. I'll find those videos there. But the other way around, you can actually design if you actually cannot draw in the right way. Try to find a very graphical kind of look and feels there to design those images there, right? Those characters there. Right. If you look into Behance there, right? Not Pinterest. I don't find Pinterest quite. There's a lot of reference, but it doesn't have a specific kind of studies that we can actually use, visual that we can use, okay, to study back again those character styles there. Remember about what I told about the graphical kind of looks, like a motion graphics vector kind of base styles there, like Francois Charlotte there, right? Okay. There's a lot of way to design those characters that you can even use your own face there, okay, and mix them up with those characters at the same time. That works. This is more into graphic design. When I look at Behance, right, I can saw there's a few number kind of styles that can aid me. This one basically came from the reference there, right? It can be. So you just have to, yeah, spend times more there, okay? If you don't do anything, okay, to develop your kind of ideas of working, you won't be able to see basically where you want to go with your ideas from there, because your kind of mentalities that you have there, okay? You always have only one particular style that you have in mind. Some of you there, okay? But if you take a look, okay, right now, this is a obviously look like a vector kind of base styles of illustrations, but they use a motion graphics, now, right? Okay. But take a look at the whole design development there. A very flat, sleek, minimalist kind of styles there that can be shown in these visuals here, there, right? See, he used a lot of reference there. Develops. It's not only purely sketching and drawing there, okay? It has some models there. I model myself a lot there, okay? To develop that kind of style there. This is one of the different style that these artists, actually illustrators, have done there. Okay? You can mix them up there, guys, okay? Any kind of style that you find quite interesting for you to develop for your comics, go ahead. What I actually doesn't want to go from here, because most of the styles is quite similar there. For me there, okay? It doesn't have any unique kind of approach, okay? The only thing that makes us, for me, want to follow the stories, because how detailed, how unique, how actually they're going to be executed, right? Sometimes like they look at the characters in a more different way there, okay? Use a lot of textures, different kind of line work, a combination with a very great kind of choice of colors there, very harmonized. There's a contrast on it at the same times. A very unique kind of styles there. This is something that I love to see also there, okay? If you want to follow some of the comics there. But most of the anime, manga kind of style that we see from these posts, okay, on these webtoons is almost similar there. There is no such thing as unique there, okay? That I kind find quite interesting that it works. Let me want to subscribe then. Okay. So we will appreciate a little bit more if you have the very unique kind of styles here. For example, like this one, right? Okay, this one using the brush tools there. Okay, the brush tool that let's just say if I want to use them here. Okay, but this one is a little bit more like a graphical kind of looks there. But I can use brush. Yeah, this ultimate pastel palooza there. Okay, just like then what I can do here, I can paint. And let's see from here. We using yeah, let's say highlighter, okay? I'm working with a highlight a bit and this kind of textures there, but using a certain number kind of flows there to give some sort of textures there too. The light came from the top there, right? So that means I have to paint a bit right here. Right, this one basically right here. Light. Yeah. This one basically okay, a bit more lighter there, right? This one there, right? A bit more lighter there. Can be. Depending there, okay, how it works. So you create a different kind of visual styles there, but in the right kind of reference there. That's why reference is really important there, guys. Spend more time looking at the reference before you're going to come up with your ideas there. You just cannot talk directly, but you need to search for it directly to define them. This one also quite nice there, right? The visuals there, presentations. But this one came from drawings and they simplified them. I really love to see this kind of visuals there. Nowadays, the modern days of working. I'm not saying that I don't like this kind of styles there, right? But it's depending how actually you're going to render them back and you want to spend time. Like there's a lot of amount of time that they spend to draw this kind of thing. That this came from the same kind of way. Okay, you can actually use reference, you redraw, you trace, or you color them back using the very minimal kind of shadows, kind of shapes there, right? Okay? This is a standard kind of styles there, okay, that can be used there. But depending how much time that you spend to work with the one single illustrations. Obviously, most of the drawings is came from reference. But of course, these illustrators can draw directly at the same times. But the positions, the pose basically came from those references that you work. That's why Behance is basically kind of like my kind of visual reference there. That I can actually learn also a lot of new things to develop some new things from here there. Okay. These also can be a part of character design directly. They design the character first before they finalize them. You guys choose the right. Okay. So, any questions so far there, guys?
Guess not.
How actually you're going to create your character? There's a lot of way there, right? There's a lot of way for you guys to execute them. I have a dry kind of lips there. I don't know why actually. Hopefully, I have to drink a lot of water there. Okay, guys. Okay, I know you guys came from a different kind of background there. Okay, architectures there, maybe hotel management. I don't know, right? Food and services directly, other than broadcasting. There may be right. Okay, if you look illustrations or visual kind of makings in a different kind of way, you will find a lot of joy to develop your kind of creative process there, right? You won't be able to restrict yourself. Yes, anime is my life, okay? I love anime also very much, right? But in order to develop my own kind of visual kind of understanding or to present those works is depending how actually I can actually grow from there or go from there, okay? If the time is not going to be practical for me to develop that certain kind of style because it's going to take a lot of times, I always go into different kind of way there, right? As long as the things that I'm going to create, remember, it's not only from our imaginations. Whatever that came from our imaginations, there will have to be a reference, subject matters there. Okay, a subject matters there, right? See, this kind of very simple characters, right? It can be a part of comic there, guys. It can be there, right? But Take a look how they execute there, the ambiguous kind of shapes there, okay? That apply different kind of characters and colors at the same time. You can feel the joy, the emotion on these characters there at the same times. Right? Very semiotic kind of symbols there, right? But it looks fun there, right? It looks fun there, right? I feel very happy when I look this kind of pictures there. Right? So that's why you have to choose the best weapon for you guys to work there. Photographies, images combined with some illustrations, for example, Reggie.
So, I have a question about the assignment. May I ask the assignment that stated submit in 10 pages means we're gonna submit 10 pieces of papers?
Paper? No. PDF or JPEG format, right?
Yeah. In 10 pages mean got 10 panels of the sketches or
10 pages, that mean like, yeah, 10 pages are going to be 10 different kind of page lah. Not papers that page there, right? Yes. Just like this one there again, the one that actually have draw before there, okay? This is how many pages that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 pages there, okay? This one, 1 pages, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pages there, okay? But the format that I'm using here there, okay? I'm trying to trick the visuals there. Can you see? One pages have multiple kind of composition and layout there, okay? But I didn't actually restrict into a panels that a conventional kind of panels there. This is 1 panels, 2 panels, 3 panels, 4 panels there. But I kind of like try to create a flows of reading kind of flows there to every single kind of page there, okay? Like this one, there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 panels there, 4 examples there, but I not restrict them back. 1, 2, 3, and 4 panels there. Okay, 1, 2, 3 panels there, okay? It's 1, 2, 3 panels, but not in a conventional kind of way there, okay? 1 panels, 2 panels there. It's combined together, right, okay, to show the flows. This is only 1 panel there, right? 1 panel there, yes. So develop your own kind of methods that you work. That's why I say I give you guys some examples that I have shown before, worked before, but I kind of like break some of the rules there when I actually. This one is a bit more conventional because I'm actually try to follow based on the author kind of script there. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 panels in 1 pages. See the difference there? Can you see the difference there? Funding there, right? 1 panels, 2 panels, 3 panels there. This is something
so
that
this
you
one
can break them back,
as,
right?
Yeah,
What is
this
it?
one considered as 2 pages.
This one?
No, just now that one.
2 pages there.
Okay.
2 pages there, right? Yeah, this
Got
one
it.
could
Thank
consider
you.
2 pages there, right? Yeah, of course you can see obviously there's a 2 pages over here.
Okay.
One actually, okay, this is basically a cover, okay, between these 2 different kind of issues there. I just combine them together there, right? Okay. It's up to you guys how it works. Right, like this one, we have 4 different pages, but multiple kind of panels there, depending there. But this one, as I told you guys before, I'm quite play some of the tricks with the visuals there, right? I'm using the same kind of visuals, say 1, 2. This is basically the same directions, same angles, but I'm changing the positions are the pose only there, right? Okay. So if I use a vector base, one of the reason I can actually develop the ideas that I get, the visual arrangements by using basically the same kind of object or elements, but I change a little bit there, okay, just to give some sort of different kind of uh, poses, actions that based on the story itself there, right? So you have to work smart on it. How well you're going to prepare basically your visual over here, then you can reuse them back, okay, to develop your kind of ideas according to your storyline at the same time there, right? So up to you guys. This is the first page. Maybe the second page later on are going to be a different kind of images there, right? So you have to find basically some of the visuals that according to your stories there, they can define your stories there, right? So those are the things that you have to play with. Maybe this one there, right? So when you try to develop, when I actually try to create those kind of ideas here, I know sometimes it looks quite easy there, okay, for me to work there. Why? Because to show people how it works, sometimes it's not that hard. But the hardest thing is, right, okay, when you guys want to receive these informations and you're going to apply them back, right? Because you don't actually get ready enough for you guys to execute your ideas right here. You won't be able to see the difference there, okay, how actually going to be works there. So for me, basically, it's not that quite hard because I used to work with it, okay? But this is only for me, only the way, okay, I'm going to you stretch a little bit like that. It's not that proper there, right? So what I can do, I'm going to cut these areas there. What I can do right now, and I've cut these areas. Copy, paste. To give a different kind of look and feel of the background there, right? So what I can do right here, right? Panels, same size. The color of the background there, right? Okay, these images there, I'm going to change there, right? There, right? To meet basically the fit with the ideas itself, okay? So what I can do from here, a lot of things. What I have in mind here right now, I'm going to draw a guy standing in front, okay, from back view there, okay, and show basically the bottom of the legs there, right? I don't know whether I can find them or not, but if I cannot find, I have to shoot myself there, okay? Legs or back view of legs from or pants there, right? Guy or man's leg there, right? For example here, see, right, wearing knickers there, right? Just like nowadays, everything that we want, everything in Google's there, right, guys? Is it? But not all of it, right? Okay. But this is something that I have basically in mind that I can actually apply there for the spontaneous kind of ideas of the stories there. So sometimes, okay, when I actually create those ideas there or want to create those kind of visuals, I would spend a lot of times research the first. That's why research is really important there before we're going to finalize them. It's kind of great there, right? Because I don't want you to have the visuals look like standard kind of photos there. So I want kind of a really kind of like very spontaneous kind of looks there. I don't know about this one. This one there may be right, kind of great, but he's not wearing sweaters there. Oh, this one there first. You save as the images here. So what I can do right now, open up. This is what we call the cinematic kind of what we call that. Arrangements there. Right, kind of like this one. Even though it's not that accurate, later on you can actually write improvise from there. Copy this one. Right, post this image first. If we just save, I'll put it over here. Like this guy, he actually write. I think those visuals are going to be a bit like this. Cut this area there first. For example here. And we have to increase a little bit, okay, but I think the visuals, okay, the photos, it doesn't look quite right. But this is something, the ideas that we can do from here, right? The ideas that we can actually play around with it, right? Am I going to use gradient map or color balance? So this is came with the visual, okay, with the ideas of the visual itself, right? So what I can do from here, the shadows. Am I going to use this kind of methods of shadows here? This. Copy and paste. Multiply. Maybe I can use blur effects. Right. It can be directly. So this is some of the ideas that based on the one panels, pages, kind of comics directly, using photos at the same time directly. But it doesn't seem it's going to be easy for all those 9 pages later on, okay? Because you have to think about your stories there first. The medium that you want to use is depending there, right? Is depending there, right? Okay? How actually you're going to execute them. Guys? Can you see there, okay? How actually we develop the ideas there? It can be in various type of way that works. Any kind of styles, methods that you're going to work, okay? You use computers, you can actually execute in visual narrative in different kind of way there, okay? It doesn't have to be drawing all the times. I'm not saying that, right? But it can be applied in different kind of, yeah, Miss Anis, okay? How are you there, okay? Feeling well, huh? Meh. Yeah, okay, right. So we're talking about, okay, how to develop those visuals there, okay, because maybe a lot of you guys basically always have a certain kind of ideas that you don't want, you don't know where to go there, okay, where you want to go from there, all right? For me, okay, there's a lot of way to execute them, okay, if you want to work with it. right? It doesn't have to be only one single kind of way that you work, all right, to design the characters, but you need to have a subject matters there, okay, at the same time. Okay. Manling, right? Right. Do you have any questions there?
Yeah, sir. No,
Yeah.
no, no.
No, right. Okay.
All clear. Thank you, sir.
If you look at the modern days kind of comics directly, memes directly, there's a lot of certain kind of style also can be used, okay? But you have to work first, or you have to visualize that first. Otherwise, we won't be able to see, okay, what type of style that you want to use, right? This is one of the graphic look kind of style that can be approached on the works itself, okay, for the comics also at the same time, okay? So depending on how actually going to work with it. Today, basically, what I want to show, basically, okay, and on the visual itself, I want to, what do you call that? To show you guys, okay, from this previous kind of comic I have, if I want to make into a motion graphics directly, okay, these visuals when I create, I haven't actually planned. I never plan to make it into motions graphics there, okay? So that's why some of the images for me, if you take a look, okay, just cut over a bit, okay, because the size actually quite big there, okay? So if I want to animate them, I have to make sure that I can, sorry, right? I can basically improvise or refine them back. So what I can do right now, what I need to do right now, I need to modify them there, okay? This area is there. So what I want to draw, I have to refine them. Even to look a bit more sketchy there, right? Like this. So some of the paint styles over here, there, right? I have to redraw them back again. Right. This area I've been covered just now, right? So this paint style basically doesn't move together, right? Okay? Hopefully we can actually separate them. So what I can do right here, kind of like select these areas here first and click shift to select some of the areas over here. Some of the areas over here, so that then if I want to move this character, for example, okay, it doesn't see like some kind of weird kind of things happens there. Right, suppose we have to separate them, all right? For example, this one there. And this part right here. Cut, paste, right? And put it at the side there. So that means this part basically when they move, right? Maybe this one can actually erase there, right? So when come to animate them, right, okay, some of the elements, you need to consider, okay, some of the areas you have to refine them back. Otherwise, it look a bit weird, right? Okay, because it's not purely animations; it's kind of like motion comics only there, right? Minimal kind of motions there. So what I can do from here, maybe, or okay, I can separate these things together. Okay, for example, like this one. Okay, I'm going to merge the layers there first. I kind of want to separate between this girl with the characters that with this monster characters there. Why? If I want to rotate later on, I want to animate the racket, I can animate like this one actually. This is what we plan. You can plan when you animate them, right? This guy also there, right? Also, when we want to animate, kind of can have this kind of motions there, right? Even though we cannot actually, we won't animate these what we call that wings there. Okay, we can animate those wings if I want to. I just don't want to make more complicated for you guys first there. Okay, there's a lot of element that we can actually animate if you want to there. So this is the monsters. Specifically the splat. It's going to be the girl there. The background itself, okay, the background basically is one single background there. What I can do, I duplicate them, right, like this one, and I need to change the format there, right, first. The canvas size I'm going to change around 8 by 16 by 11 there, okay. Why? Because I want to pan basically the background here. Okay. I want to pan the background there, okay. So that's why I changed the format there, right. So these are the things that the technical kind of things that you have to consider when you want to make a motion comics there. They're not going to be used the same format directly all the times. What we can do from here, right where the clone tools, I will use this clone tool to cover these areas there, this border there, right, this things there, right. Make it doesn't seem like we actually combine them there, right. Okay. It's like one piece only there, right. Even though this patterns is the same there, okay, it's okay. Save the files. This is the canvas. Okay. Make sure the mode are going to be RGB there, right? Okay. So what we can do here. Go to After Effects. Okay, save the files there first. This is the one that actually create this now. I kind of want to find these videos back again. Close this one there first. All right. Open new compositions. Like how many seconds that you want to make the characters move. The whole visual move okay, around. Maybe 3 seconds, maybe. The size basically came from the actual kind of size that we use. 768 by width, and the length, the height are going to be around 1024 there, right? So what I can do, double click. There's the files there, right? Check back again the files. The files save as in, okay, let's say project 3. So I'm going to use this one there, right? And pitch. That's there, right? Now double click. Okay, we have this one. All right, choose the layers there. Okay, you can actually mix them up, or you can use one by one, okay, like this one here. Zoom out, check the size. This is basically the size of the panels there, right? You can actually animate them. We can animate those panning directly, the background itself directly, because they're flying over there. You show the flying over there. To create basically the frame rate, the frame panels there, either you can use masking, or I'm going to use this type directly. I have the frame kind of panels there that I create just now. This is the one. All right. Select all, copy. They're going to be appear like this one, the little one. Okay, this is basically the panels there. Right. The panel quite big there. Okay, so what I can do, I can scale it down a bit like this. Show basically, okay, this is basically our panels there that can be worked. Okay, for this particular scene only there, right? What I can do right now, kind of like choose the panels there first, because we don't have to use masking there, right? There. Lock basically the background there first. Then I can actually scale. This is the panel that I want to use. I can actually scale them, move a little bit. There. This composition is there, right? See that, right? Okay, there. Okay. It's basically the panels there, right? So what I can do right now, I can move the background there first, right? According to the, click to the positions. This is the first positions. In 3 seconds, the background are going to be moved like this. Depend on the frame rate there, right? See? Left to right. Why? Because they're flying left to right there, okay? Towards there, to the futures there. The past there, right? So what I can do right now, okay, this is with 10. Demo number 2. Right. The next kind of images they want to create. Right. One of the reason I'm using this kind of methods there, because it helped me to plan a little bit more. I can make sure that okay, you move your make sure basically you move your frames into the first frame that first. All right. So this is the characters there. See, this is the characters there. Okay, wait up. Correct. So the characters, the girl characters, I'm going to bring over together. Okay. And then I'm going to scale together. Both of them. But scaling also can be animated, right? It can be animated. So when you see the background move, right, it's like they're flying over there. Okay? They're flying over there. Okay? The thing that we can actually play around also from here, right? Let's just say that I want to make the girl rotate. Okay? Right? Lock this one there first. So I'm going to be putting over here. I'm going to move over the windows. Right. It's one of the features that I actually can see from the tools that I can. Let me check the tools there. There's the toolbar that in the tool. Control 1 there. Tracker of the line. And this is from sorry directly on top of it. Rotation tools there. Yeah, that's the right animate one. When I move the right rotations, when I click the one, I can change. From the first frame, okay, this is the second frame, see, right? Yeah, the movement there. Right. To look at the girls, particular like the hangover there, right? Yeah, right. So what you can do from here, you guys can copy this one, two, copy there, right? Into the 20 frames. Each frame, they're going to be rotate the right back. And basically, that's why the motion comments that sometimes some of the motions look like a speech therapy. What you can do also with these characters, the positions, or the characters also can be scaled there. What we can do first, okay, the positions here. One, this guy, stick to the selections back here. I can actually move over the characters right here. And then in frame number 5, kind of like up the back here. Right? You can see the motions of the characters there. What I can do right now, I can copy this one, paste, 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 right here. I use Control V. Paste. See those, and there right here, you can see like the motions there. Right. It can be like this one, a very simple kind of motions there that we can do from there. There's a lot of effects also we can actually apply okay, from these visuals if you want to, right? Okay? In order to develop this kind of what we call that more kind of believable kind of look and feel from here, right? So depending there how actually going to work. Okay? I kind of want to use okay, let me say I'm create some new adjustment layers there, right? So what I can do from here, let me try distort effect. Okay? There's a liquefy effects, magnifying effects directly. You can actually experiment them directly. What we can do from here, the motions directly can be animated directly. The motions can be animated. So what we can do from here, percentage, start match, pick this one there first. From here, we animate them. Okay. And this is very simple kind of what we call that animation directly. This one can be animated here to make the flight. They will basically okay the size. size there, to the size of it. Offset the size. Change. See the difference there. But all these kind of methods sometimes, this kind of effects sometimes they will have a certain kind of limitations there. The false there first. I'm worried I make some changes, but in all these kind of effects there, right? Change this. They require a certain kind of space there, right? At the same time. Now my what you call that? Like kind of what we call that. Cannot actually replicate. Also, I'm worried basically they're going to be kind of crashed already. But this is basically something that we can apply also, right? You have a very limitation kind of motions there. So let me delete that for a second. Like just now basically right here. Click to the effects, liquify. You see the changes that you have done here. I kind of want to see, right, this one. Simple kind of motion surface. There. So, deep kind of motion from there already. But this one basically like it's practically you have to practice, you have to experiment a bit more already to work with. Especially for the motion graphics itself. Right? Okay. That's how actually you can work with the motion graphics, okay? With the motion comics, okay, you have to create some motion kind of elements there, okay, for your comic at the same time, okay? So, pause here. Right. Either you can actually add new kind of compositions, okay, based from the same frame rates, try to add another kind of pages, or you can actually render this first, and you add new layers there, and then you can edit later on, okay? All those kind of elements, all those kind of 10 pages kind of motions maybe directly later on. For example, that you can actually go to add render queue for this one. Right, the settings, okay, for me doesn't have to be changed over here. Just click OK. It loses directly how actually going to output those kind of files. If you don't have any kind of music, doesn't have to put everything right here. They don't have, doesn't have to be changed that first. Right, you can to resize from the format, go ahead. But if you don't, just keep it off the right, okay. The format basically going to be using either sequence or AVI directly, depending, okay. So if you use sequence before you render AVI, for example, you can use JPEG sequence, but you have to click into folders. But if you're using AVI, just click OK, and then this one right here doesn't have to be changed. Right, get a lot areas there, and then you actually can, how do you call that? Save into one single folder there. Let me see a project 3 of effects. auto save from project 3 over here, or you can add another folder there. We call basically the comics directly, emotions of project 3 directly. Then this is basically the page number, this is number 11 there. Okay, and then render them. 3 seconds, single page is not that long directly, so you can play around with it there. So what you can do from here, check back again your videos. My folder's messing up there, right? All right, here, motion comics. Okay, this is my video that is not there. In 3 seconds. So all these kind of videos, basically, you can actually render them back directly. You can render them back. So what you can do, I have another video that actually click this now there. Click this file first, close them up. Then I kind of want to open up the effects. Yes, I can admit, okay, they kind of very quite difficult for the first time, okay, but make sure you actually have prepare first the visuals there. Those are the first thing there. Okay? I'm not going to change this one. Let us say this is page number 1 there, okay? Not the same story there. Render them up there. Why they stop? Basically, right, okay, there's a lot of effects that I use right now. Right? So it's kind of like they're kind of like a heavy loaded there. With composition number 2, for example, here, I can render them back. Add to render queue. This one I can delete the first. This is page number, for example, number 2. Render them back. Okay. So what I can do right here, save the file that first, close everything. If I want to edit, either I can use Adobe Premiere or Adobe After Effects directly. So what I can do is close this project at first. I kind of okay, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, right here, for example, okay. I think almost 1 minute, not 1 minute, okay, around 20 seconds maybe. Try 10 seconds like this. This is basically my kind of video format right here. But I'm using not a standard kind of format, I'm using a bit kind of like comic kind of format. So what I can do from here, motion comics, okay, this is the video that I have, select all, import them, kind of can use all these images there. Let's put it right here. This is the last one there, right? Quite long a bit, I think. Around another, but I have some still images right here that I can want to cut a bit there. Okay? Those visuals from here. So mix them up together. Okay? You can compose back people together. Okay? The whole comic together there. Okay? Those are the things that we can choose. So when you have complete, okay, I have 10 seconds of presentation over here, right? And compositions there. Composite there, right? So, same thing. Go to add render queue. I don't want to change everything from there. Right, resistor. Composition, right? Then render them back. All right. Go back to the folder. How big is it? The size there? Check that again. The size around 560 megabyte. Okay. Okay. The thing that I always use, okay, to reduce the size, I'm going to use the video converter. Okay, this one. Convert. Okay. So play this video. Yeah. So you need to have the visuals before you're going to animate them, before you're going to make some motion comics there. Right. Make sure you plan first your visuals before you're going to animate them there, right? Okay. Learn about animations there. That's why we need a plan, okay, on the visual phase. Right now we don't have that kind of visual with us, right? Okay? Only one of you guys that you have sent to us, which is Zahra there, right? The rest of us, I don't know, okay, whether you guys have actually updated with us or not. Should you update with us in order for us to see how far you can go from there. All right, guys? What do you think about it? I think hey you there is no problem. She actually using After Effects before, right? How about the rest of you guys? If you guys want to use Photoshop, okay, because I heard some of you guys okay want to use Photoshop to animate, right? Okay, go ahead, right? Okay, you can use Photoshop also to animate them, right? And then you compose them back in After Effects if you want to. Okay, okay. There's not actually as a restrictions kind of um, application that you want to use. Okay, in order to develop, you can understand it. You also can even use the window video makers there, okay, to work with it. After you compose most of your scene in one single pages there, for example, one single file, and then you separate all those pages there, okay, at the same time, you actually use window video makers that to work. I never use them, but I know basically that kind of application is a bit kind of easy and direct there for you guys to work. Window video makers there, right? But basically, my dad used to work, used to compose most of our family videos with this one directly video maker. I don't know any kind of what we call that other kind of video makers that you guys can use also, right? Okay, like Macintosh, right? Okay, I think you have the what we call that some of the videos kind of applications that is quite kind of direct there. Okay, you can have the transitions also at the same time that you can use. Okay, but the most important is what are the visuals that you want to use, okay, to work with it. Okay. Any questions? Any questions there? How many people are right here today? 34. So this week, can we actually look into your progressions there, okay? On Sunday, is it right, Miss Anis? Okay, again. For our progressions, on Sunday, 12 p.m. there, okay, we want to see some progressions, right? Sketches, right? The design developments there, storyline there maybe, right? Okay? And also the most important thing is your thumbnail sketch, right? Okay, on those 12 pages there, how you actually arrange them, right? Those are the most important things to make sure that you have the directions there, how it works there, right? Okay. Otherwise, the whole thing are going to be hairwired in the last minute kind of preparations there. Okay. So if there are any questions, lastly, hey you, can you raise your voice a bit? Okay, I want to hear your voice.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, hello there right now.
Okay.
Right. Just like to tease them there, right? To tease her there, okay? All right. Because she also has one of the animation subjects that she has to be complete, but I believe that she has completed that, right? She has completed the most of the visuals. I just want to see some animatics there, right? Animatics, maybe some of the motions there, maybe. So hopefully there is no problem over there. Only about this kind of subject only that most of you guys, we actually haven't seen any kind of what we call that progress. I think one of them only. Okay, only Zahra actually has said that. Okay, but okay, the rest of you guys, I'm quite floating right now. That okay, quite worried that okay, whether you guys can actually work or not. Because I believe that some of you guys have the right kind of good potentials that to work. But we want to see that kind of thumbnail sketches first, and also some of the mood board maybe as a reference, like Jessica actually have said just now there, okay? We love to see those kind of references, visuals there, and sketches there, right? The direction when we're to go. Then we can actually have some ideas. Yes, okay, you can actually proceed and go for it there, okay? And make sure when you actually submit those works, submit those kind of progressions, you basically have the kind of direction that you want to go. You can handle those kind of things there, right? The thing that you cannot handle, make sure you do some research first, okay? Research came with the visual, and so you test your drawings or your techniques before you're going to execute them, right? Okay. So guys, if there are any questions, I'm going to leave you guys earlier directly so you guys can actually do your thing. And we always open up our room for you guys to discuss at the same time. All right. All right. So it gives some feedback on my progress on comic therapy. But the names of it here. Okay, let's see. Okay, Pratisha is in the morning classes, right? We see how actually Pratisha is doing that. Right? So give you some of her inspirations there, I think. This is stuff there. Yeah. Kind of quite worried there, okay? Some of the stories. Characters here. Using a silhouette there, right? Oh, this is the characters there, right? Oh, these are the characters there. Good. Yeah, quite nice there. Right? So what do you think there? Okay, Miss Alisa, okay? I think she can proceed there, right? So the thing that we actually want to see right now is how actually she's going to execute the thumbnail sketch there, okay? To create progress. All right, yes, for me, okay, you can proceed, okay? and proceed. And Twitter, catch every page is there. We would love to see interactions of the visuals based from Sunday. I'm going to be seen as okay. So this is one of the samples from your friend that you can actually see how she is done there. For me, okay, one of the things that I quite satisfied with, because you guys actually have the certain kind of format of presentations that you have. You always have you have been nurtured already from the early stage already. So those are things I won't be able to have a lot of problems here. Okay? I don't have any kind of issues from there. Okay. The only thing there, right, the progressions that you want to see from this. The way that we see from what Patricia has been done. For me, the stories, okay, maybe Miss Anis actually can go a little bit more detail from there, maybe if you want to directly. But for me, the story basically are going to be the guideline for you guys to visualize your ideas. That if we go through a bit more further directly, sometimes it will be make the creators cut a little bit if you give a lot of, I don't want to give a lot of very critical comment unless the works basically going to be kind of poor directly. This kind of thing I will give some of the very critical comment. If I see that you can do it well, hopefully directly, then I want to see those coming up there as soon as possible. That's how it goes. We want to see the final kind of look directly. We want to see the final kind of how actually you portray, for example, that I showed just now. Okay, I try to visualize some of the ideas. All right, from the ideas that I have into the more kind of the final kind of look directly, so we can actually see, okay, this is the directions of your visuals that are going to be in the final kind of formations directly. So the directions of the art directions is there. So we don't have any kind of problems to imagine what basically you're going to do directly. We don't like to imagine directly. Remember, David, don't just imagine them, visualize them. Okay? It came from our imaginations that we have to visualize them. Right? Okay? All the objects or the subject matters that we want to draw came from our imaginations, but we find the directions that can be executed one. Okay, we can actually communicate visually there. Right? Those are the things. Right. Is there anyone else there? Anyone there? Where she go directly? Go to the cell directly to share it. All right. Okay. All right, guys. So hopefully you guys can actually share with us directly also what you can directly, because we always open up our website directly for you guys to consult or do or discuss whatever that we want directly. I think like funding also have Funman directly actually have consult with me direct for several times.
So my name is Martin.
Manling directly.
Martin.
Right. Okay, Manling directly. So she actually have consulted with me several times also, right? Okay, thank you very much there. Okay, so we can see the directions of the work, okay, for certain kind of students there at the same time, right? So good luck with your kind of progression for the Sunday, and hopefully you guys can actually upload them from your blog and also in our activities over here, right? Okay? At the same time, so that thing we can actually keep track basically your work directly all the time directly. And always back up your file there, guys. Always back up your files there. Because we never know, right? Sometimes, okay, in the final kind of weeks, some of the technical areas, virus kind of the infection, sometimes computer crash, files lost, okay, all these kind of things happen sometimes, okay, without with from not our beyond our control there. So remember, okay, I'm also worried about my kind of working file all the time there, okay. So if we can actually back up the files into Google Drive, for example, your working files, do as routine as you can there, okay. To save the files there and to save our working files there, okay. All right, thank you very much there, and have a nice day, and good luck, and thank you also for being here there, okay, all of you guys. All right, this is one of the line that I always not use, but I always watch actually the one of the old series there, okay, the night callers there. Good night, everyone, wherever you are there. All right, thank you guys. Okay, all the best, and good